Alright, welcome back to Dominate Dominion number 102. We have got our chat bands rocking and ready to go. We are waiting for that start button to be pushed. If you did not see them, the chat bands are LeBlanc, Kha'Zix, Thresh, and Zyra.
And we are going right in with Clueless versus Goon Squad. Goon Squad picking up a side sentinel this week.
Yeah, Snide actually normally playing on, what team does he normally play for? The top players jump team so much, I never know.
They were playing on a super team made by Icing last week, but that team seems to be absent, and their players seem to be split up. As I can inform you that Matt Saportal is playing on Treeline this week.
Oh, Mad Supportal is over on Benchwarmers this week, so that would make sense.
Along with the triumphant return of Buddha Rice to the Dominion scene.
Ah, Sir Buddha Rice. We miss you, my friend. I was actually playing with him this morning, and he called me bad a lot. It was just like old times.
We do see Brand, Fizz, and Wukong being the first few bans coming out.
Yes, so there is the Fizz probably targeted at Ro4 bot lane, so very good ban there. Jarvan being targeted, strong bruiser, always good to get rid of, same for Wukong. And then Brand being banned out, one of the stronger mages, his ultimate has that super AoE power, so good to get that out of the way as well.
Now we have Hipeoples thinking really hard about this last ban that they have to throw out. I do believe Cassidy is still open, Nidalee would also be still open, and we do see the Nidalee ban coming out.
Yeah, Nidalee getting taken out of the picture. Do not want to deal with those spears, vision and map control, and the heals. So getting rid of that as fast as possible.
Clueless has first pick, but opting to ban out the Nidalee because they do not actually feel that they play very well with Nidalee.
Nidalee takes a very, I want to say, smart team, dedicated team. Yeah, you'd have to play with each other a lot and really know what it's like to have a Nidalee on your team.
We do see the Maokai first pick coming out, and the last ban would be for Vi. So Jarvan and Vi and Wukong being banned out. So there really is a significant lack of bruiser picks in the current lineup. We do know Jax is still open if purple team feels like picking it up. The Leona looks like it's going to be the first lock in, along with Xin Zhao.
Yeah, Jax being that incredibly strong bot laner, we know Sam uses him a lot. Sauron's known for using him a lot. Lee Sin is also a pretty good pickup to go with a tree or another tank because he can W in with them, especially against a Xin Zhao too, because he can get that strong attack speed slow with the cripple on him. That might be another pickup for him, and let's see if they do
a pickup that we haven't seen in a long time from Clueless that they used to play a lot is Darius, which used to be their counter to these melee things who are very reliant on attack speed. He's still very strong, has true damage, has his magic damage bleed that scales off AD, and it stacks Black Cleaver very easily with his Q in a team fight. So they might pick that up, or you might pull out something new.
Oh, they might be picking up the Pantheon and Annie, and they're just locking it right in. No second guessing here. Going with the Maokai and Annie, very strong pickup, as well as the Pantheon for good AoE damage to hit the stun targets from Annie.
Booberry picking up his favorite Annie. It looks like Snide Sentinel is looking at the Vel'Koz as his pickup. Sneaky Vaporeon, hovering a lot of different champions currently banned is LeBlanc and Kha'Zix, so they won't be able to pick those up. So we're going to look forward to what they end up settling upon.
And Vel'Koz is on the table right now for Corrival. I know he's been... I actually don't know that he's practiced all that much Vel'Koz.
I do believe if Vel'Koz would be picked up for purple team, it would be going to Snide Sentinel, as we did see him play it last week to very great effect.
And it looks like Shinki Vaporeon, aka Subcutie, aka Mitsuru, aka too many names for me to remember at this point anymore, going to be picking up her Katarina, one of her signature champions there.
Katarina into Pantheon, into Maokai, into Annie, being very brave, but she is known for her Katarina. We'll see how this pick ends up working out, as there's a lot of hearts you see on the opposing team.
Yeah, so she is very used to playing against very CC-heavy teams, so we're going to see what she can manage to pull out with this Katarina. So Clueless does have the last two picks here. Let's see what they decide to go for. Ro4 does have some plethora of interesting bot lane champions that he can pick from. Noob V3 and Corval are both really strong bot laners, so they can both go bot if they need to. The Vel'Koz is on the table for Corval, and Noob will have the counter pick. So what is Wolfer going to go? Is he just going to go with the safe pick on the Nocturne? I think so.
Well, for opting for Nocturne, and then we have Urgot being covered over for Half-Hearted, one of his signature champions that he likes to play.
Oh,
Okay.
Wolfer.
But we see a Lulu lock in, and I imagine that will be Wolfer taking Lulu into the bot lane, because I do not believe anybody else on that team plays Lulu. I don't even believe Wolfer himself plays Lulu, but we are going to see it for the first time in competitive play today.
Does Blueberry play Wolf? I don't think Blueberry plays Lulu.
I have to imagine this will be one of the champions that Wolfer has been practicing in the bot lane as he has been trying to expand his bot lane roster.
Ah, that is true. He does have his very strong picks that normally get banned against him, so he's trying to branch out, grab those other champions that are strong, as well as not trying to pick very high-rated or top-tier picks, because he doesn't want those to get banned out. So very, very wise.
Absolutely terrifying roster coming from Blue Team, full of the upper echelon of the tier list of Dominion picks. And we see new V3, who is probably going to end up being the bottom laner for Purple Team for today, picking up his signature Ahri.
Yeah, so he's going to be picking up that Ahri. He's a very, very strong Ahri player, so it is one of his few niche bot lanes. So he is going to run with that, and it looks like Corval's actually going to be playing Leona. Snide is going to be rocking that Vel'Koz. He is a very good Vel'Koz player. His APs are top-notch. Isn't Snide Sentinel the king of ELO right now?
He would be the new school king of ELO, assuming that title from people who have held it in the past like Sauron. And it's interesting to me that Corval, I actually get to see Corval's Leona in competitive play, as he always is, I may be a bot laner, but, my Leona is absolutely top-notch, and today we get to see whether his Leona is going to bring everything that his word said it would to the table, or if he might fall short.
Yeah, if you got to talk that talk, you got to bring it back up in the tournament. So, let's see if he can hold true to it.
We see Snide carrying CV, something that he has been doing of late no matter which team he plays for. Loves that vision because he does play those poke champions, and he does not want to get caught out and blindsided from the flank. Yeah,
so he always brings that clairvoyance. He loves to have that vision. He absolutely cannot stand it when he doesn't know where the enemy team is. He likes to play those long-range champions where he can just sit back and mess up the enemy team. All right, and we are off our timer, so we can use that, get rid of the summoner blocker so you guys can see that CV there.
We have Clueless sporting 3 Ignites, 2 Exhaust, and we have, 2 Ignites, actually 3 Ignites and 1 Exhaust, the only Exhaust being on Corval. I don't know how useful Exhaust is going to be this game. I imagine it would be used to mitigate some of the bursts coming down from Annie, as Pantheon and Urgot are both relatively unaffected by that summoner spell.
Well, it does also take off 30% of your ability damage. So when you consider Pantheon to be an AD caster, he's going to be jumping on you, getting the Heartseeker Strike, getting the his Q as well. You need to be very careful about that, and you can exhaust him to chunk a lot of that damage off. Same with Urgot. If you can get into range, he hits you with Corrosive Charge, he starts landing those Qs, hit him with that exhaust, and it'll cut that damage for just a few of those Qs.
We do see that Sneaky Vaporeon is using a pretty interesting rune set. It's a mishmash between scaling and flat AP. He's opting to actually not run any magic, a very, very little amount of magic resist in his runes, even though he seems to be up against primarily magic damage. There are 3 magic damage dealers on Clueless. You have Booberry, who's going to have the very upfront burst. You have Maokai, who is no slouch. And we saw somebody ask, why is Maokai very, very popular in Dominion? Maokai offers his saplings, which are 45 seconds in duration, and they are wards on a wardless map. It's very, very useful to have vision. And Maokai is a tank who, in SR, isn't very effective because there's no real place to put him. He has a hard time getting counter-jungled in SR, and he doesn't really fit any of the SR laning places. But in Dominion, where you get, free gold, he has incredible ratios on all of his abilities. They do a lot of damage. He also mitigates a lot of damage, 20%, while you stand in his ultimate. And that damage really stacks up and can be turned around when used for the explosion. And, being a tank with a targeted initiating spell, if you don't respect his range and you get caught, he's a very, very tough champion to deal with. And he's very, very easy to play.
Yeah, Maokai brings so much to the table, and that's one of the great things about Dominion is those champions that don't get to shine on Summoner's Rift do get a chance to shine here because they get that gold. If they don't have a place in the current meta in lane, it's more of a question of can they team fight? Can they duel? If they can do either of those, which obviously most champions can because that's what the game is designed around, then they're going to very easily be able to be played on Dominion.
And Maokai is one of those champions who, like Urgot, for example, and SR, he has a lot of mana problems. Maokai has incredible mana cost on all of his abilities, and Pantheon is a pretty decent defender of mana cost. After you spam a lot of his Qs out, he does run him. All those champions who, have a very, very high mana cost or just don't have a lane, some of them tend to really, really thrive in Dominion, and those are the ones you see who are the top picks of today. That would be like Urgot and Maokai being prime examples.
Yeah, I've played that Pantheon a few times in Summoner's Rift up top, and his mana costs, you use 2 to 3 abilities and your mana bar is completely gone. There's no mana regen on the map like on Dominion, so you sit there with an empty mana bar just hoping it comes back at some point. So.
Well, we do come into this game, we do see Wolf4 is going to be the one ending up playing the Lulu. He's rocking the Winter Wonder Lulu along with Frostfire Annie sticking with the winter theme a little bit. We do see a Totemic Maokai coming out and Battlecast Urgot for Half-Hearted. It is going to be a battle of the Battlecast skins, as we do see Battlecast Vel'Koz for Snide Sentinel, Slay Bell Katarina as we go with the snow theme, and Iron Solari Leona.
Good old Iron Solari Leona dropping those phoenixes on people. And I do have to say, that Winter Lulu skin is one of my favorite Lulu skins, if not my absolute favorite for her.
I do think the particles from the Winter Wonder Lulu skin are the scariest thing about it. You see a whole bunch of white and blue coming at you from the direction that you don't even know because you can't follow picks. He's just a little white speck in the background.
Yeah, he is so hard to see. All right. So we are going to be getting into this game. It is going to be Clueless versus Goon Squad. It is going to be the semifinal match of Dominate Dominion number 102.
Now, we do have much better hard engage coming out from Goon Squad. They do have the Leona. They will be able to pick a target and focus it down very, very, very quickly. The AoE damage reduction will play, I think, a decent part in cutting Vel'Koz's laser damage down. But for the poke, I don't know who actually wins the poke war. We are going to have Snide pretty much rocking it solo over for Goon Squad, but they do have Katarina throwing a little bit of bouncing blades into the mix. The poke over for Clueless isn't the best, but it isn't the worst. They have Maokai Saplings and they have Half-Hearted, who is going to be opting for Tyrion to Muraman, and a build that he doesn't often use. Makes you very, very squishy in the early game and peaks around the 6 to 8 minute mark when you actually finish it. And Urgot can stack it that quickly.
Yeah, once Urgot gets that Muramana, he takes that really weak early game and turns it into one of the most terrifying late games that you'll ever see. The damage he can output with that Mura is just insane. But I think the Maokai ult is going to be a very big player here because, again, like you said, the Vel'Koz ult is going to hit really hard. The Katarina ult as well is going to be ripping the team apart, and you need to keep people alive. Having that damage reduction from Maokai will really help with that in preventing resets. And
Parkhurst is one of the very seasoned tank players I see play tanks these days. He does things a lot of tanks these days don't actually do. But includes like body blocking, blitz pulls, standing in front of charms, and linear skill shots like Karma. I do expect him to be good enough to hold his Q, as it is not a very high damaging ability. You do max it second or you max it last in order to stop this Katarina ult from coming down, as Maokai doesn't really need to use that ability on cooldown all the time.
Yeah, sometimes it's better just to hang on to it, save it for that critical situation where, the Xin Shao's dash is coming back up and you need to keep a squishy safe, or exactly Katarina's ulting, and you need to stop that. Just hang on to it. So,
Now we do see a small pause, but it is already over. SubQT had to fix a little something up, and whatever it is, it does seem to be resolved. When we look at Corval, he is opting to start Nerf's Thorn Shield and 2 Ruby Crystals. Now, do you agree with this, or are you a fan of the more Giant Spelt start?
Lately, I've been leaning towards the Giant Spelt start a little bit more, especially since the Thorn Shield's nerf came through. It really hurt it. You can feel it. It's not as effective as it used to be. I just think the Giant Spelt's a lot better. You can get that quick Sunfire cape, especially if you're a Magic Pen tank. It works out really, really well.
Now, how do you feel about New V3 starting the bottom lane? It's opted for an incredibly defensive Ruby Crystal and Chalice start.
Well, he is going against Lulu. He is going to try to go for that CDR, and I'm assuming he's going to get a Guise with that Ruby Crystal. I would hope he's getting a Guise with that Ruby Crystal. It could pay off. He's not going to have as much early game, but his mid to late game should spike really hard.
We do see Half-Hearted trying to poke against Snide. Snide landing for 2 very good spells. Corval landing a Zenith Blade on the Booberry, but I don't know if he wanted that. Hafe getting absolutely chunked out, but Bibapop coming around the flank for Snide. Everybody wants Snide Sentinel, but he is going to manage to get away. Sneaky Vaporeon not managing to pick up Half-Hearted, and nobody actually going down yet. Looks like Corval will, however, be the first to fall. Katarina jumping onto the neutral point in order to get away, and we see Purple Team just fleeing. Bibapop wants Snide, and it looks like he might get him. No, Snide with the knockup. Bibapop not going to be able to do any pick up that kill, and Katarina just really standing around in these levels, not particularly doing anything.
Yeah, she doesn't really have that early game. The cooldowns are really hurting her. She has to go in, kind of get something, and then she has to wait. But if she can get those kills,
get the first kill, and she is going to pick up 2.
She can get those resets. That is really what you need with that Katarina, is to focus down that one target, get those kills so she can reset, and the fight was cleaned up. Wonderful, wonderful play there by Goon Squad.
Clueless blowing all of their revives. You know, Snide Sentinel's still alive, has his revive. Everybody else's revive is down for Goon Squad. Will they be able to defend top? We see Maokai throwing down a zoning staff lane. Corval not opting to eat it, so Snide can, might come around, but it doesn't look like he wants to. Minions are going to pick it up either way. Pop already in the bottom lane, looking to get new V3 with this very, very early game. Corval realizing that they are in the bottom lane, and he initiates in top lane. Rages is going to pick up Half-Hearted. Parkhurst is also going to go down, and we see Noob. He just ran in the opposite direction of his point and stalled for an incredible amount of time as Booberry is going to find 3 people. Zenith Blade is going to land, and 3 kills are going to be picked up for the Goon Squad, getting the better end of this trade.
That was an incredible play by Noob. He knew he wasn't going to survive, so he stayed alive as long as possible, buying time for his team so he could, so they could capitalize on that. They didn't lose any points out of it. In fact, they gained more because they were able to neutralize the enemy mid there. And now, since Vel'Koz went down, he did retreat to head B and help clear out bot lane while Ahri is down. So good switching out there from Goon Squad. Very nicely done. And it looks
we do see Clueless setting up in the jungle, looking to get a gank on. They are in the very forward brush. Bibapop going to initiate onto Leona. Bear going to come down on the Xin Zhao. Now when Xin Zhao is initiated on, he is a substantially worse champ. Wukong are going to come up from the bottom lane. This Xin Zhao is getting absolutely bullied. Bibapop, however, going to catch a significant amount of damage as Parkhurst is owning the rest of the team. Katarina ult being blown, and they're going to run. Corval is going to fall. Double kill for Lulu. New V3 is capping the bottom point. And Goon Squad just absolutely cut off guard, not expecting Clueless to be that forward in their jungle already.
Yeah, that was a heavy, heavy aggression. But let's see if they can manage to get their bot lane back here. I'm pretty sure Ro4 is going to be able to get this point neutralized before Katarina comes down to stop him. But is Pantheon going to be able to hold off the Ahri? He is stuck in a lot of minions. That damage is going to hurt him, and he is going to go down.
Bibapop making a very interesting decision to juke in the minions instead of running back to the neutral point. And New V3 is going to pick this up. Katarina shooing the Lulu away. And, Ro4 is going to try his luck, tries for a max lane, Skilly Lance does not get it. Parkhurst, however, is going to fall to Goon Squad on the other side of the map. Half-Hearted running away. Leona landing the perfect stun. Half-Hearted going to ult and buy himself some time with the armor and magic resist, but he is inevitably going to fall. Double kill for Corval with that nice solar flare.
And still trying to get their bot lane back down here as it looks like Vaporeon is coming down. Gonna try to get some resets, but ooh, the Ignite going down.
Booberry getting Whimsy. Charm, however, hits. I don't know if Sneaky Vaporeon is going to be able to get out of this with New V3 running so far away, not opting to give him a Shunpo target. Does actually Shunpo the stun from Bibippop, and the laser is going to come over the roll on Blueberry, who is going to fall. I don't believe Bibippop is going to get out of this. New V3 playing very, very careful. Hop not managing to juke out Vel'Koz because of his interesting skill shot pyrogram, but he is going to manage to get away, or so it seems.
He may be able to go B? Yes, he will be able to get out of there. In the meantime, Clueless is trying to pressure top. Leona is going in on just an Urgot and a Maokai. That armor shred is going to be hurting quite a bit from Urgot, able to almost take Leona to half with one corrosive charge. So,
Corval going in with the one more time on the half-hearted. Exhaust being thrown down on the Rage, ult being thrown out by Rage, and they are going to seem to at least pick up one kill. Parker is low mana, but Rage does have the power of the minions, and he is going to continue to wail on this tree as the reinforcements for Clueless does come up. Blueberry getting poked down by Vel'Koz a little bit, and the Katarina looking for the reset, gets one reset, gets stopped by Bibippop, but I don't know if Bibippop's going to be able to run. Pantheon is very, very fast, and Katarina does not have any CC, so he is going to be able to get out of this. Clueless really getting out-rotated in this early game.
Most definitely. I mean, Goon Squad is just, they're on point with their swapping around, sending people where they need to go, and Clueless just doesn't seem to have an answer for it yet. But then again, Urgot did start tier, so we can't really call this a game until he has got that Muramana. He's ready to start chunking people down.
Hipeoples does have that tier. The tier is almost fully stacked, and he has expressed that he's not really used to starting a tier build in the past. It's the first time I've seen him do it in competitive play, and he has really been getting caught out. He is 0-4 and 5. He has still contributed to the team fights, but he has generally been the first person to come down, feeling the loss of those defensive stats. Now, it does look like Clueless really wants Knight, who is in the absolute back. Ro4 coming up, but new V3 is also here. The Ahri ult is going to blanket a lot of damage. The Maokai ult is not necessarily where it needs to be, and the Vel'Koz ult absolutely ripping through all of Clueless. The shutdown coming on down the Ro4's Knight, doing damage from over the wall, but the double kill coming out from Blueberry, who managed to pick up the Katarina in the back end of that fight. Knight trying his best to fight the rest of the world as Blueberry beelines to the top point. That is Quest. He is unstoppable with that last kill.
Yeah, Half-Hearted was missing quite a few corrosive charges that could have been potential kills there. He's trying to keep an eye on him as he was going through that fight there. But Blueberry is going to be able to capture that windmill. He will be able to get the quest. That is going to be a 10% damage buff for all of Clueless right now. And let's see if Blueberry can. He will be able to get the Vel'Koz down. Very nicely done.
Blueberry, one of the few people with the Tibbers micro, just microing Tibbers absolutely perfectly in order to pick up Snide. Corval trying to get a recall, but he is not going to make it. Regis and Sneaky Vaporeon are coming up. Now Corval might be a masturbator here today. Looks like Bibippop might fall. First reset for the Katarina is here, but she misses her W, and Pantheon is going to manage to chunk her off of that. Snide blowing revive. Afe and a Parkers are up here, and a corrosive charge did land on the Snide, so it looks like they're trying to back off.
And Parker's doing a really good job trying to zone out from that health relic, grabbing onto the squishy Vel'Koz, saying, you ain't going nowhere, man. You're going down. So they are going to be able to defend this point pretty well. Leona will be back up. Vaporeon heading back to try and get some health. So, bot lane.
No, if you want to play Vel'Koz like Snide, he has leveled Q first and W second, opting to level his E last. I know a lot of Vel'Kozes do a lot of different build orders, but as you can see, Snide, 2 weeks in a row, being very, very effective on that champion if you want to play it like him.
Yeah, so skill order is going to be QWE, of course prioritizing R over everything else. And seems to be BFT and Sork Boots, going for that pen, going for that DFG SR equivalent. And it looks like Clueless is looking for their 5-man fights that they are so famous for.
Ro4 face checking into a Leona. Looks like he's going to get bursted out of the start, but no, he's still a Lulu. Gets to back up a little bit. Blueberry and Half-Hearted getting absolutely destroyed by the Vel'Koz ult and hitting 3 people, bringing everybody low, but the Katarina is not where she needed to be to get those resets. Double kill, triple kill for the Ahri, however. Katarina finally coming in off the back is going to pick up a Parkers, and that is a 4-for-0 for the Goon Squad.
Yo, that Vel'Koz damage was insane. The 3 sitting in the back were like, okay, we're safe, we got this. Vel'Koz starts letting loose that ult, and they just melted. And Xin Zhao running into a Lulu with BFT, learning why BFT Lulu hurts so much, and getting instantly obliterated. Pantheon man dropping down.
Lulu also with the move speed is going to be able to pick up Snide as well. Very, very nice. That's probably going to be able to net Clueless the windmill once again. Those 2 kills being picked up at the end.
Alright, well, They should be able to get this. Corval is the only one up there, and he is at 30% health. I don't think he wants to get into that fight. Corval really needs to get an item done here. Right now he's kind of sitting on a bunch of recipes and doesn't exactly have a finished item yet.
Blue team has captured
He is going to pick up that Sunfire. That'll help him out quite a bit in these team fights.
Now that the Sunfire Cape for Corval is done and the Abyssal Scepter for Katarina is done, that duo is going to be doing a substantial amount of damage. Also, because the Katarina is in melee range, oftentimes the Abyssal Scepter is going to increase Knight's damage as well. And we do see that the Maokai did not. He is up for an incredible amount of magic resist, but we see the fight starting. Corval getting initiated on, both tanks punching each other. The Xin Zhao backing up. The long range damage from Snide Sentinel is coming through. Blueberry on the side drops Bear onto Corval and Xin Zhao, but the stun comes out. They're going to follow the laser, not doing as much damage as before. We do see a 3v2, and Hape is just getting in Snide's face, but Snide's still alive. Corval also still alive. One more Q from Snide Sentinel would let a bunch of kills. Rages with the revive. Snide with the long range Q, and they are going to be able to clean this up. Meanwhile, we have Noob3 in the bottom lane trying to fight Blueberry, but the revive was spot from Hape-Hearted, and Noob is going to go down.
Oh man, Hape does have that Muramana finished on Urgot, so his damage is spiking through the roof right now. And that was quite the revive play by Rage. That was really, really well done. He got that revive, got back out, and managed to clean up the fight and capture Windmill. So very nicely done there.
Blue team's nexus is at
Maokai opting for a lot of magic resist, but not a lot of HP in the build, as we do see Corval initiating onto Bibipop. Bibipop finally going to make his way to Snide. Wolfer coming from the back. Is Snide finally going to go down? No, he's still alive. Bibipop going to go down first. Wolfer being stunned out. Snide all the way in the back, as we see Rage is getting taken down by Hape-Hearted. I don't know if Snide should stick around. We see that he is going to manage to be alive. Hape-Hearted is going to go down to a solo Leona in the back, and Snide still pressing his luck, feeling safe enough with his long range that he isn't going to get picked up by a Parkhurst. And Corval being an absolute man, believing in his resistances, and he might end up living. You know, Snide coming in with the true damage, and Katarina being thrown down for a Parkhurst who has all the magic resist, but the Katarina actually is going to go down. Parkhurst's build coming in for the end. And Noob3 in the bottom lane is going to go down to Blueberry.
The double BFT burst war did happen, but Annie is going to win that one, Ahri, so I apologize for that. She is going to be able to get that neutralized and almost captured, and no, she will be able to get it capped. No one is going to go down there to stop her.
Snide opting to throw the laser onto Wolfer, but you know, that Lulu is deceptively tanky. Everybody busting out Negatron cloaks for Clueless. Hape-Hearted is going to look like he's going to be focused down. Lulu is going to blow ult on him. Leona ult hits. Will he get in the range for the Zenith Blade? No, and Corval finds himself in a 1v4 and not where he wants to be.
Yeah, and Urgot just really starting to chunk people down now. Vel'Koz sitting still, getting hit by that corrosive charge because of his ultimate, and just getting chunked so incredibly hard. I wish I could have saw the damage recap for how much Urgot hit him for in that short amount of time. Alright, and Noob did get his bot lane back. The game is looking to even up here. Goon Squad will still have a 30-point advantage at the time, but that is slowly ticking away. They need to get a play in the works right now and look for something.
Wolfer trying to roam from bottom lane, but Noob is already out with his team, spotted by the sapling. So it does look like we're going to have a 5v5 engage coming very soon. Everybody just having a war, but Clueless has pushed the minions, and it finally has been pinged out by Goon Squad.
Yeah, they are going to have to go in right now, or they risk losing their midpoint and having it be neutralized. And if they back off and try and go get mid, then Clueless can very easily run into bot lane. So you can see here they're trying to keep a defensive stance while sending someone over to get those minions.
Bibipop opting to push bottom lane since he does have grind Cypher. He can attend the fight whenever it does go up.
Ooh, and running into a Noob right here, and that is going to be the Ahri ultimate in exchange, and Snide getting caught out by the Annie is going to get completely blown up. This is Clueless's chance. They are going to look for the engage now, try to keep this map pressure up as much as possible. The points are ticking down, and they have taken the lead.
I don't believe Goon Squad is going to be able to hold on to this point if they do decide to stay. Snide, it will be up in 10 seconds. But Corval is going to have to do an amazing job, and I do believe the neutral is going to go off unless he can tap Annie, and he does manage to do so. Rage is going to go in on Blueberry. It's going to get absolutely blown up by AP Burst. The point is going to go neutral. Noob3 is chilling out in the bottom lane, just not pushing anything, while the 5-minute Clueless destroy the 3 men of Goon Squad.
Yeah, oh, and Snide getting caught with that corrosive. Is he going to go down to the Urgot? Oh, so close. I think if one more Acid Hunter would have landed, that would have been him, but he's going to try to heal up and get back out. Noob capping that bot lane while Clueless is spending their time up top, but it is still a 3 cap, and the man drop is coming. RIP in peace, Noob. And the Battlecast skins going at it, shooting lasers and rockets at each other right now.
Half-Hearted getting the worst end of that trade, not managing to land a corrosive charge. Parkhurst with his infinite MR feeling really good, and Sneaky Vaporeon being very, very greedy, trying to get in range of Half-Hearted, but that is not allowed. But Parkhurst is going to meet his maker, which is a Zinzal that does physical damage. He has no armor, but will he manage to pick up Parky? Yes, he will. Ooh. Uses him as an escape mechanism, but the last Q from Half-Hearted is going to pick him up.
And in the bot lane, Noob is getting ganked. Annie and Lulu just proving to be way too strong. Oh, and BB Pop face checking, running into Snide. Is he going to chase into that? No, BFT is actually going to tick his last health down. And it looks like 4 cap for Clueless right now, just completely dominating the rest of this game. They were looking a little shaky at the start, but now their movement and positioning had just definitely turned up right there at the end.
Blueberry playing very, very well this game, getting a significant amount of very, very important tibbers down on priority targets. The damage dealers of Goon Squad have been getting absolutely destroyed by it, and they have been putting on a very good show of how to utilize jungle pressure. Half-Hearted waiting in the bush is going to end up picking up rages with them doing way too much damage for the Zinzao to even contest.
Yeah, that was a free Zinzao right there. He just was like, you know what, that's cool, you can take me down. And Goon Squad trying to push on the bot lane. It is not going to pay off for him. In the meantime, Clueless did manage to pick up their mid, and they are just picking people off as they are streaming out of the base right now. I think this may be GG. It is 4 capped with about 15 to 20 seconds left on the clock.
We do see a small fight breaking out in bot lane, but that most definitely is GG. We will see who ends up being the feeder for Clueless, however. Parker's taking a little bit of damage. Sneaky Vaporeon fancying himself trying to get another kill, but the real question is, will Snide go down one more time in this game?
Will he drop? Oh, the root goes on to him. Vaporeon does go down. The man drop is coming. Is he going to be able to kill him? And I think he will be able to take down Snide. And that is going to be a 5-man push on the bot lane. And
that is the game. 18 minutes and 25 seconds. We will see Clueless as your victors, 182-0, and they will be going to your finals once again for the 4th week in a row.
Oh man, and then we're going to have to check up on our other semifinal game and see who they are going to be facing against. Is it going to be a Clueless bench warmer week, or are we going to see a new team in the finals? But for now, let's look at our post-game screen and check out our damage dealt. I'm very curious about this Urgot's damage. I think it's going to be... Oh! Urgot actually got beat by Vel'Koz in damage dealt. Very interesting.
Snide, despite his team losing that game, he got caught once or twice by really good tibbers or very, very good Pantheon ults. He's putting out a lot of damage. The early game Vel'Koz laser, because of it dealing true damage based on his passive, does a tremendous amount of damage. But throughout the game, the Vel'Koz ult does not scale that well. So in the later team fights, you saw the Vel'Koz ult just wasn't having the same impact as it had at rank 1 and rank 2 in the earlier levels.
Yeah, as it starts to go up, it doesn't scale as much, his passive, that is, with AP. His ult will still do a lot of damage, but in the early levels, it's that true damage proc that's really, really hitting the enemy team. But he has amazing damage, as we saw last week with Snide playing him, able to just sit back, snipe people down, and just completely blow them up from the back line. But again, very nicely played by Clueless. That was a very good game.
Vel'Koz serving the same purpose as Ziggs, doing very, very comparable damage. But, Half-Hearted's Urgot's damage really, really picked up in that mid game. As you saw, he finished his last Whisper, he had a Brutalizer, and he had his Muramana done. He's absolutely chunking people, being able to really 100-0 them off of one Noxian Corrosive Charge.
Yeah, that poor Zinzao walking through those bushes there at that midpoint just ran into the Urgot charge and got nuked down so easily. And then once he grabbed that Storm Relic and then managed to land one on Vel'Koz, nearly took him down completely if Vel'Koz didn't get out of range in time. So very, very well played by both teams, really. I mean, in the very beginning, Goon Squad had such strong presence and they were shutting down Clueless and taking advantage. But then Clueless managed to get some good comebacks. They got their items built. They got their good mechanics into place with the roaming and the rotations. So that was a really good semifinal.
Now, as always, Dominate Dominion is a weekly tournament that happens each and every Saturday. However, it is being bi-weekly. We will not have a tournament next weekend. It will be the following weekend. You can always join us in the Dominate Dominion chat room in League of Legends. Just type Dominate Dominion in the chat box, and you'll find everybody who's hanging out there, watching the stream or, enjoys Dominion. And then you might be able to find a couple people who you can play with during the week or during the weekends if you so desire.
Yeah, if you guys have your client open, there is a little box in the bottom right. I don't know which scene is actually my... I don't think I have one set up right now for that. In the bottom right, the very middle box, you have a plus right above it. When you click on it, create or join a public chat room. When you click on that, type in Dominate, no space, Dominion. And then you can click this little cogwheel up here at the top, and you can hit auto join on startup. So this is where all the Dominate Dominion players hang out. All the cool Dominion guys come in here to chill and have fun, play Dominion games. So if you ever want to come hang out with everyone, feel free to come jump in. So we are going to take a quick commercial break, and we are going to be getting you into your finals game. I don't know if our semifinal matches are both done yet. I think we're still waiting on the other one to finish. Yes, we are. So we will get to that in just a moment. Again, if you have any questions in chat, feel free to say them. Myself, Hipeoples, and some other people are going to be sitting around to answer them for you.